Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. Happy Friday to everybody. In today's video, we're going to be going through several different things, right? So we're going to be covering softball, baseball, and football. Also, the transfer portal with Chaz Lanier, everything that we have up to date on him. But it's going to be a much shorter video because several of these topics we'll be covering in tomorrow's video. But please stay tuned because we do have enough information in this one just to get y'all primed and ready for tomorrow's. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's start off with the softball team. And we absolutely breezed through the regionals, beating Dayton 3-0, beating Virginia 12-0, and then beating them again 6-0. So we did not let anybody score on us in the regionals. That's a really good job by our pitching staff. We already know that we've got elite pitching with this team, and we can also get hot at the right time. I feel like this team has a really good chance to win the whole thing. Now, today we're going to be playing against Alabama. The game will be in Knoxville. It starts at 4 p.m., and it's on ESPN2. So if you do have a cable service provider, then you probably will have a login for Watch ESPN, and you can tune into this game at 4 p.m. if you have the opportunity to do so. Again, y'all, I think that we are in a great spot, okay? We'll probably win these next two games. I'm not quite sure how it works, if it's one game or if it's two games. I think it's two at this point. But we're going to be fine, and I love our chances to win this whole thing. Now, let's go on to the baseball team, who is still in the SEC tournament, and we did get kind of blown out by Vanderbilt 4-13. That was a pretty embarrassing loss, but just honestly speaking, y'all, I feel like maybe we intentionally lost that game. Or you know what? I don't want to say that because you never intentionally lose, but I do kind of feel like, no one's going to be super upset if we don't win this SEC tournament because it does not affect what happens in the tournament that actually matters, which is the national tournament. And that's going to be coming up here in about a week or so. But we did beat Texas A&M 7-4. I think that our pitching looked really good in this game, okay? That's what we want to see heading into this thing, right? Like heading into the real tournament. That's what you want to see is the pitching picking up its pace because we can always score points. I mean, the bats are pretty much always hot. Wasn't so much so versus Vandy. And again, kind of told y'all my reasons for that. It just kind of felt like maybe Coach V was like, hey, listen, just swing. If it's something that you like, just swing at it. I don't know if that's true or not because you don't really want to get into those bad habits, but that's the way that it looked. Again, y'all, we looked a lot sharper versus Texas A&M. And then today we're going to be playing up against Mississippi State. That game will be at 7:30, and it will be on the SEC Network. And now on to basketball. Chaz Lanier is what everyone's talking about. He's a transfer player from North Florida. We've talked about him several times on this channel, but he is the guy that can complete this team. And if we can land him, then I would personally say that, hey, our roster this season is better than last season's was. And, we went to the Elite Eight last year. We almost made it to the Final Four. I think that with Chaz Lanier, this team has a lot more promise to be national champions. He's everything that we want. Currently, he has visited Kentucky and Tennessee. Now, there is a dead period, which means that he cannot talk to the coaches, but we are anticipating that at some point today, we will be hearing a decision from Chaz Lanier. And if it's not today, at some point over this weekend, feels like everything is pointing towards our Volunteers. Now, this is crazy because everyone's been talking about, great Asavar and how much money he got paid out of the transfer portal and NIL money. And we think that Chaz Lanier has gotten some pretty big offers from Kentucky, but BYU is a team that has offered even more money. And Tennessee is actually not offering nearly as much. It does sound like our offer is more competitive with Kentucky, but it doesn't sound like it's touching BYU. Seems like Chaz Lanier is not necessarily valuing just that NIL money. He wants to work on his game. And the big thing that the NBA scouts told him was, hey, you need to work on your defense. So who better to help him work on his defense than Rick Barnes? Again, y'all, we will probably be reporting on that, bringing some news out to y'all on that over the weekend at some point, and it could be today. And finally, for the football team, we know that this is a very critical end of the month, heading into the summer. All of the official visits, all of the unofficial visits, everything, right? Like we're done going out on the road, finding new players to offer in future classes, and maybe just trying to keep the players that we already have committed in this one committed, and just trying to get some extra, leeway or, gain some ground on some players that are close to committing. So this 865 live event that's coming up this weekend is going to be huge. And right here, as promised, is the list straight from VolQuest of the players that we are expecting to be in attendance. And you can see there's several blue chip caliber players. Obviously, David Sanders is going to stand out to most of y'all. George McIntyre is going to be another one. Shady Hayward, who we feel like is going to be all Vol. Everything that we really wanted to see, we're seeing on this list. Now, someone that is kind of a surprise on this list is Isaiah Gibson. And he also has set up an official visit on June the 14th. And he is a 6 foot 3.5, 260-pound edge player. And he's a 5 star right here. Okay. So 5 star on 24/7 sports. And I guess on the On3 composite, he's also rated as a 5 star, but he's a really good player. I've got him as more of a strong side defensive end. Now, he's currently committed to USC, but it sounds like he doesn't really want to play there. Now, we talked about the difference in NIL from Tennessee and the states that don't have state taxes to California. It's a huge difference. So if they're offering him $1 million, it's about the same as us offering him about $500,000 because they're going to take about half of your money out in taxes. So let's scroll on down here to his visits, and you can see Georgia is another school that we have got to worry about. Don't know if he will go there, but he is from Warner Robins, so it's very possible. South Carolina also is going to be getting an official visit on June the 7th. Auburn, and I know about Coach Freeze, he's going to try to position their team in the best possible spot to be able to land whoever they really covet. He's really good at closing as well. But Tennessee, and then he does have another official visit at Oklahoma. That's going to be on the 21st. But like we said with Tennessee, ours is coming up on the 14th, and we have several blue chip players coming up on the 14th. I think that we are in a really good position to be able to land Isaiah. So if we can get him to, maybe feel a little bit more comfortable out of this 865 live event, I would say that he might be a player that will be committing to us over the summer. And it's huge, is exactly what we need. He's not just a guy that I feel like could play strong side D, and he could also bump in and play tackle and kind of be that Omar Norman Lott that's leaving us, kind of be that Bryson Eason who's probably also going to be leaving us because he has that twitchiness, he has that quickness that you really, really covet and want. And he's already got good size. So you are anticipating that, after his freshman season or, at some point in his freshman season, he's going to get another 10 to 15 pounds. He might gain even more than that because I think that he has more room in his frame to grow. But this is a really good player, and I think that Tennessee's in a great spot to be able to land him. And outside of that, like we just, brought up to kind of start this segment off with David Sanders. He's a guy that is going to be visiting Clemson coming up here very shortly, but it's great that he is going to be visiting us before he goes up to Clemson. And there's some sort of an On3, like event that's going on in Nashville as well, right around this time that he will be at also. And I feel like we're probably going to have either players or maybe some coaches, something that will kind of be there to talk to him and make him feel very wanted. Now, he will be going on up to Clemson for his OV. And if he comes out of that one without committing, I think Tennessee's in a great spot, but we still have to worry about teams like Georgia and Ohio State. But I think that Georgia really is kind of, more on the outside looking in. It's really right now, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen, from what I've read, from what I've heard, it's between us and Ohio State. And Ohio State is a lot further from home. We know that that's one of the biggest things to him and his family is just being able to make that turnaround drive from North Carolina in that Charlotte area to whatever school that David is going to be playing at. I think that we're in a great spot. The insiders and experts have said as much several times. They've not wavered off of that, not one bit. So we should be good here, but we have got to close. You never know what's going to happen. Everything's about to get real crazy at this point. Now, I also, just at the end of this, want to talk very briefly about the changes to this revenue sharing that's coming to college football. Okay, we're not going to go too deep into this today, but we will go deeper into it tomorrow. I think that this is a great look. Now, keep in mind, okay, NIL is not going away and the players are still not employees. It's just a little bit more money in players' pockets. And for me, what I think is going to end up happening is it's going to be a very set standard for each player because they do want to make the players employees so that we can, have some more set rules and kind of regulate everything, especially that transfer portal more. But I don't think that you can do that as much just from the revenue sharing, which a lot of people have kind of speculated about. I think that you're going to have to literally employ these young men and women because that, Title 12, or I'm sorry, Title 9 is going to also be coming into play, which I'm perfectly fine with. But I just think that that's what it's going to take for us to be able to more so enforce different things. Something else that I thought that was pretty, important to kind of point out is that there will be maybe like a third party source that monitors how the payments and all that stuff is going out. And there's a lot that goes into it. We'll dive deep into that tomorrow. But thank y'all so much for sticking all the way to the end and tuning into the show. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace.